The baby's gender.
Yes.
You excited?
Yeah, but only you're finding out, so.
I win. Here we go.
Just a minute.
Well, we were supposed to have an ultrasound today and to find out the gender of our baby. Anna had gone with Brooke hoping to be able to do a gender, have the kids do a gender reveal surprise for us. But during the start of the ultrasound, the technician was unable to find the heartbeat.
That's when my eyes automatically go. And so there was no heartbeat, and I knew. And she said, I'll be right back. And I said, there's no heartbeat, is there? And she said, no, there's not. That was this morning. Now we're here at the hospital to have the baby. And it's gonna be okay. Just not yet.
It's different to be here in this type of scenario.
Yeah. We've never gone through this before, so this is new. Anyway, I love you.
I love you.
My blood pressure at now.
91/54. Tiny bit. Brookie's having a hard time with the rest of the placenta. She's bleeding pretty good.
A lot.
And
I almost fainted.
they're freaking me out a little bit. I don't like this so much.
I know. Oh man, it hurts.
They're gonna take her into the operating room and they're gonna numb the bottom half and
I don't think they're numbing the bottom.
oh,
I think they're just getting me in a loopy state.
oh,
Probably with tension.
I hate that. I just wish this was over.
Me too.
It's giving me anxiety and it's scaring the crap out of me.
I'm gonna miss my baby.
Hmm?
I'm gonna miss my baby.
I'll hold her.
I'm gonna miss her.
I love you, baby. Well, I promised Mom and Brooke that I would do a video. She just left the room with all the nurses, all dressed up for the surgery room or whatever they're gonna do. So now I'm just left here to wait. And she wanted me to talk about my feelings a little bit, which it's hard. I don't know what I'm feeling. I'm feeling kind of numb. I'm just really scared. I'm worried about Brooke. She lost a lot of blood. I miss her already. I don't even know what to say or think. Sitting here with this little baby in my hand and Mama off to the OR. Everything will be okay. I just really love my family, love my kids. I love my Brookie. without him. Well, I'm gonna say a prayer. So I'll talk again later. So the hospital just brought us this little gift basket for Daphne. Got all kinds of cool little things in it. I don't know what this is. It's sweet of them.
It's a day later after having the baby. It's been rough. I have cried so many tears. I don't even know that I have more to cry in than I do. It's just been really hard trying to process and just trying to, I guess, understand what's happening or what happened. That baby was loved before she was here. I guess I'm trying to process what this means for us. Do we try again? Not to replace this baby. But I wonder if we are supposed to have another baby or are we not, and that's why it happened. I just don't know. I don't know what this means, or it's just so strange to me that we just go on without this baby. We just keep living, and the world keeps moving, and everything just goes on without her. I don't know why that feels strange to me, but it does. We've only ever had happy memories from the hospital having a baby. You know, it always ends in us taking the baby home in a car seat. This one ended with our arms empty. Technically, it's been 3.5 days since we had our baby on Wednesday. Today's Sunday. So, today our bishop is he is a mortician, and he has the baby right now. And he is going to bring her over today at 4 o'clock so that we can have a family, I guess, service and be able, because my one regret from the hospital is that Anthony and I didn't say a prayer with the baby, and I don't know why that's been bothering me, but it has. And so we asked the bishop if there was any way that we could come see her or just be with her so we could pray with her. And he said that he would bring her by so we could have a family service, and I'm so grateful for that. I don't know why today's been such an emotional day, but it's almost 3 o'clock right now. Everyone's at church except a few of us. Hallie wasn't feeling well enough because her wisdom teeth are really bothering her. Kayla and her boyfriend went. Anthony went. I was not feeling up to it because I don't know why today I'm just such an emotional mess. So anyway, I'm grateful that he's going to be able to bring the baby by. And I don't know if we will get to see her. I don't know if she's wrapped up. I have no idea what condition she's in. I don't think most of the kids want to see her, which is fine. I would like to see her if I can one more time, but I'm okay if I don't. I just want to know that she's here while we say a family prayer. There are times that I feel like this is all just a dream, and times when I forget that I'm not pregnant anymore and I'll feel a kick, which obviously is not a kick, but I'll think it's a kick, or I'll just be thinking about, oh yeah, in February when we have the baby, and then I have to remind myself that I'm not having a baby in February. That's been really hard. And then there are other times like today where I just cry, and it's very real, and it's just my whole thought, there's like a hole in my heart, and I don't know how to heal it or what to do. there are just times it feels like a freight train came and hit me, and emotionally. Physically, I feel great. I don't feel like anything happened. I don't feel like I do usually when I have had a baby. I feel great. The doctor told Anthony after the DNC procedure that I would be really sore, but I haven't been, not even a little bit. So that's been such a blessing, to not have those added on top of the emotional pain, having the physical pain, because the physical pain's just not there. My milk did come in, which is kind of added insult to injury a little bit, but thankfully it's not much. It's not nearly as much as I've had in the past with other babies, just enough to be a little tender and lumpy. But that's about it. So I'm actually feeling really well physically. Emotionally, I'm not there yet, and I don't know how long it's going to take. People who have been through this and who have been kind of helping, I have several friends and family who've been through things like this, and they're telling me that it can take years, and others are telling me, I don't know, I guess that it'll just randomly pop up. I guess all of them have told me that throughout my life I'll just have triggers, and I know that's probably true because this sweet lady in my ward told me all about her baby and said that her baby would have been 34 this year, and that it's just been living, she's had to relive it through reading my stories on Facebook and stuff. So I feel bad about that, but I feel like I need to get my emotions out, and it's been therapeutic for me just to be able to talk. Anyway, we'll be fine. We're not okay yet, but we will be. And I don't know how Anthony's feeling, because he's just one that keeps it all kind of in, and he doesn't talk, and so I'm trying to respect the way that he needs to grieve, and I'm not sure if, I really don't even know if what he's feeling is about the baby, or if it's about, I know he was really nervous about the blood loss that I was having. I think that scared him more than anything, and that was kind of his focus while we were in the hospital. So I don't know how much he's processed yet about the baby, and I don't know. I just don't know what his thought process is at the moment. The rest of the kids are doing really well. I just said that like Anthony was one of the kids. What I meant was the kids are doing really well. It's been a little emotional for all of them in different ways. The girls, I think, are mostly sad when they see us sad. Camden and Brance have both had moments where they just randomly cry and get upset, and they'll kind of hide in their room. And Brance has even not wanted to play for an hour or two at a time, and then he'll go play and he's fine. Bo doesn't really understand it all. He knows that we had a baby. He knows she died. But I guess he just doesn't understand what's so sad about it, because we never knew the baby. He's never seen the baby. Winston just thinks that the doctor's gonna fix the baby, and we're just gonna have the baby here with us again, and that he'll put the baby back in my tummy. So that was sad to explain to him. You know, the most interesting thing is that Lily, she has no idea what's going on at all. But she never would answer me when I would ask, neither of us or any of us. We would say, are you gonna have a baby brother or baby sister? And she would just say no. And she just, I don't know, she never would say that she was going to. So I don't know, in some way I always took that as maybe this baby's not meant to be ours in this life, because I have had that feeling, and I'll explain that. Anyway, I'll talk later. Are you okay?
I'm fine.
You're fine. Why are you sad?
Because the baby died.
I know, sweetheart. I'm so sorry. Do you know who she's with right now?
No.
She's with Heavenly Father and Jesus.
Heavenly Father is in heaven?
And that's where the baby is. Do you
The
remember?
baby lives there?
She does.
Next one, she's gonna live here?
No, she won't ever get to live here. But we'll get to see her again in heaven. Okay?
Also me?
Yeah.
Also the whole family?
Mm-hmm.
Honey.
Are you okay, buddy?
That's good. I'm just not happy.
No.
I'm sad.
I'm sorry,
Kiss?
bud. Can I give you a hug? Stop.
Yeah. No, please.
I'm so sorry.
No, please. No, please. No, please. No, please. No,
What can I do to help you, bud?
Mommy,
What?
I think I'm done crying.
You think you're done crying?
Yeah, cry. I'm sad because of the baby. Because the baby died.
The day that the baby was born, it was 2 weeks and 1 day ago. That was a rough day. I don't know what else to say, except it was rough, but I wonder if this would be better if I flipped it the other way. All right, so 2 weeks and 1 day ago. That's how long it's been since we had our baby. And I don't think I ever finished the story, so I'm just gonna finish that now. I don't remember where I was in the story because I've talked about a few things a few times and I'm not sure where I was. So I'm just going to start with the doctor's office. And I remember going in and sitting there and they called me back, Anna and I, to see the ultrasound and to do the ultrasound. And I went back there and they put the wand, well, they did the jelly stuff. They put the wand on my stomach, and as soon as it started, I looked directly at the heart just because I know what I'm looking at. I've had 8 babies before, so I know what I'm looking for. As soon as she started, I knew right away that there was no heartbeat, and yet I tried to tell myself that she must have been doing something wrong, or the computer screen was just weird, the monitor. I didn't know what was going on other than there was no fluttering heart, and I knew it right away. And it scared me, but I kept quiet because I thought, okay, she's gonna find it. She's gonna find it. Everything's gonna be fine. This is not really happening. And then she stood up pretty quickly after she started. She stood up and said, "I'll be right back." And I just, before she could leave, I didn't want her to leave and then come back with doctors and I have to explain it because I already knew what was happening. And so I just looked at her and I said, "There's no heartbeat, is there?" And she said, "No, I'm sorry, there's not." And I tried so hard not to cry. I'm actually doing pretty well right now because I tried recording this earlier and I just cried through the whole thing. So anyway, I felt horrible for Anna because she was right there. And I just reached for her hand and I held her hand and she just said, "I'm so sorry, Mom." I felt horrible for her and I knew Anthony should have gone with me that day. I am so grateful that Anna was there. I really am. I knew Anthony should have gone, but anyway, the doctor came back in and because she had left and got the doctor, and doctor came in and said, "Okay, he walked in and said he was so sorry." And then he started talking to me about a couple of different things that could happen, and then he said, "Let's get you into an exam room and we'll talk about what your options are." And so we got into the exam room and I called Anthony right away. And Anthony was in town, luckily, right there, because my doctor's office is about 20 minutes away, 25 minutes away from home. But Anthony was close because he had to run to Lowe's for a couple things. When I first called him, and I was kind of hysterical, he thought I was going to tell him that there was something wrong, like there was, maybe the baby was missing an arm, or the baby has Down syndrome or something, which I would have loved to have told him any of that. But instead, I told him that the baby's heart had stopped beating, and he just kind of stopped and he said, "Are you serious?" And I said, "Yeah." And then, sorry, now I'm going to cry. He said, "I'll be right over." And because I told him I was still in the exam room. And anyway, he came and Anna had to switch with him. So she went out to the car because they don't allow more than one person in there. And Anthony came in, and the doctor hadn't come in yet, so that was good. He walked in, Anthony did, and he just gave me a big hug, and then the doctor walked in shortly after and said, "Your options are, you can either go home and just allow this to happen naturally and wait for the baby to pass, and but with that can take days, it can take weeks. Even once the bleeding starts, it can take weeks before the baby actually passes." And then he said, "Or you can go to the hospital. We can dilate you right away and get you can have the baby," because the baby was too big for a D&C, which I'm actually grateful for, because if we had done a D&C, we never would have got to see her. We didn't find out what the baby was. She was curled up in a ball, and the tech wasn't able to tell. Oh, I gotta go get the dogs. They're barking. Okay. This is a weird angle. I'm sorry for the funny angle, but it's just the way my phone is sitting. He said, "Or you can be dilated today or tomorrow." This was a Wednesday, and so he was going to be going out of town that Friday, so he said, "We can do it today or tomorrow, or we can wait until next week if your body hasn't done it on its own by then. It's kind of up to you what you want to do." And so he said, "Why don't you go home, think about it, and give us a call and let us know what you want to do." So we did. We went home. I went home. Anthony had a bunch of stuff on his truck and trailer, not truck, the Suburban and trailer that he had to go deliver. So he went to do that, and Anna and I came home. I had Anna drive because I wasn't feeling up to it. We pulled up, and I knew I was going to have to tell the kids that the baby had died. And so we came in the house, and I had been crying, so my eyes were red, and as much as I would have loved to have waited for Anthony to be there with me to tell them, they all knew something was wrong as soon as I walked in the door. So the TV was on. I just walked up to the TV, turned it off, and they all kind of looked at me and said, "What is going on?" And I just told them, the baby died. So the baby doesn't have a heartbeat anymore. And so the baby had died according to the measurements, because right after the doctor came in, he said, we just want to see how big the baby is, to see, if we can get a date or somewhat of a date. And so they measured, and they're estimating that the baby died within the past week. They said it could have been anywhere from a week before to right before we walked in the door, just because I was 16 weeks that day, and her leg was measuring 15.4 or something like that. So they don't know exactly, but the doctor did tell me that she had high drops, which is fluid collecting in parts of the body where it shouldn't be. And so it was in her neck and her head, and they don't know what caused that. He just said that it could be caused by a genetic disorder such as trisomy 13, 18, 21, any of those, or it could be a whole different thing, or sometimes they don't know why it happens. He said, until the baby's born, we won't know if there's any cord problems or anything. We went home, told the kids, and then I just called Anthony and said, I don't know what you want to do. I don't really want to do this at home because I don't know what it's going to be like. I kind of just want to get it over with. I didn't want to just sit and wait knowing that I had a baby that had died and just wait for it to come. That just seemed so lonely. And so I told him that I wanted to go to the hospital, and he said that he would like that too because the doctor did say that he didn't know. You know, sometimes people bleed a lot more when they do it on their own because the placenta won't come out like it should. And so I didn't want to deal with that. I called the doctor's office. They said we could come in at 5 o'clock that evening because that's when my doctor was getting off of work, his regular day. And so we went in at 5. By 6:30, they had inserted the, I don't remember what they're called, but the pill things that start your labor, start dilating you. And then they planned on putting more in every 4 hours. By 10:30, when they would have come to put more in, I was pretty much ready to go. There's a lot of stuff that happened in between there. The nurses there were super nice. Oh, dogs. Hold on. Anyway, the nurses were super nice. The first one that we had, she was only there for an hour before they switched, but I don't remember her name. She was sweet. She is a sweet older lady, and she just said, I just want you to know that, you know, there are going to be things, you know, obviously the pregnancy didn't go perfectly, but there are going to be perfect things about your baby, and your baby's not going to look like a brand new baby that you get to take home, but there will be perfect things about your baby. And she said, your baby will have, you know, perfect fingers, perfect toes, perfect ears. Everything's going to look beautiful to you. So my doctor came in and checked me a couple of times, I think, if I remember right. Everything in the hospital kind of became a blur, and I'm not exactly sure what happened. I do. I mean, I was there. I remember I didn't even have an epidural because I just never felt like I needed it. But during the time that we were there, my mom came up from Salt Lake, and so she was here with the kids, and my cousin called me while I was there at the hospital, and just she had been through a similar situation many years ago, 16 years ago actually, and she just called and told us how sorry she was and gave us her best advice, and some of that advice was absolutely priceless, and I can't thank her enough for reaching out and just telling us kind of what to expect and how to cherish the moments, I guess. And you know, one thing that she said was that when she was going through the same thing, someone told her, this is your only chance. This is all the birthdays, all the holidays, all of everything that you're ever going to have. This is every moment. This is all the wedding. This is everything. And so take the time that you need to be with that baby and love on that baby. Anyway, and then she told me that her biggest regret was that she didn't have her baby cremated. She just let the hospital take care of it. And I had been asking the nurses throughout the whole thing, you know, what happens if we just leave the baby with you? Because I didn't want my baby just thrown away. That just didn't seem right. And so none of the nurses could ever tell me what was going to happen. It's like they just didn't know, or maybe they didn't want to tell me. I don't know, but because of Kimber, my cousin, we chose to have our bishop, he runs a funeral home, have him cremate her. And so we chose to do that. So the baby will be buried with me someday. We're gonna get a little urn for her. So because of her, the baby will be buried with me someday, many years from now, because I'm not going anywhere anytime soon, right? Right. Around 10:30, the doctor came in and checked me because I had started bleeding, and I told him that I had started bleeding, and so he checked and he said, well, it seems like you're far enough that we could probably push, and let's see if we can get the baby out. So I started pushing. I don't even know what I was dilated to. It couldn't have been very far because I was not in much pain at all. But I pushed a few times and finally the baby came. The baby came out in her sac, and when the doctor opened the sac, he cleaned her up, and I guess I didn't know what to expect with a baby that gestation. I didn't know what she would look like, especially with the high drops. She had a lot of fluid on her head and in her neck. She looked, they warned me that she would be red or purple, and she was red, and her skin was very see-through. But you guys, she was beautiful, and I can't even tell you how much I don't know, part of my heart healed just in that moment, just seeing that she looked like us. She looked like a baby that we would have. She looked like my other kids. She looked like Lily, and to me, I mean, I could see my other kids too, but definitely Lily. And you know, she had the pushed back chin like Lily did, and Camden actually had that too. Her little hands, they were perfect. Her little ears were perfect. Her nose, I could see was not quite fully formed yet, but it was just so cute. She looked so much like Lily. And her toes were perfect. And her hand literally fit right here on my finger. I have a picture of her hand right there. And then Anthony has a picture of his hand with her foot on his fingertip. And it's the sweetest thing. Anyway, we got to be with her for a while. I didn't get to spend as much time as Anthony did, only because I started bleeding quite a bit as soon as I had her. And so they were trying to work on me and trying to ease the placenta out. And the doctor had said right after I had her, so I was able to hold her for a bit. He said, if we're just patient, maybe it'll come out on its own and we won't have to do much coaxing, but I'll give it a little, I'll give it a certain amount of time, and then we need to really get busy if it's not going to come out. And so he gave me about 10 minutes, I think, and then all of a sudden I passed something big, and I said, oh, maybe that was the placenta. And so I told him that I had passed something, and he said, oh, that's not it. That was just a big blood clot. And so he started working, and he got these huge, I don't know what to call them. They look like salad tongs kind of, but hold on, I have the perfect example. These, they looked almost identical to these, okay, except they were longer. They're probably this long, and this part was smaller. So the triangle was smaller, and they were quite a bit longer. He was using this to go up inside and try to pull the placenta free, but it wasn't working. And so he tried that for quite a while, and it was a little painful, but he just kept trying. He's like, you're putting up with a lot of pain. And I started texting my mom. Anthony was texting the kids just to let them know that the baby was born. We hadn't even let them know yet. Everything was just kind of chaotic from there. And in the middle of my text with my mom, I hadn't even texted her yet, just as I was typing out my text to let her know the baby had arrived, I all of a sudden just felt everything drain from my face. Like everything just drained from my face. I could feel it, and then all of a sudden I just thought, I'm gonna faint. And I said it out loud, and I said, Anthony, I think I'm gonna faint. And so he called the nurse, and they both came in really fast. And well, first the nurse came in and she popped open this thing and had me the smelling salts, and it was supposed to like help. It helped with the fainting part, but it didn't help. I still felt really dizzy, I guess. I didn't feel quite like myself. He said, okay, it's time. We just need to get the procedure done. We need to do the DNC. So then he called her. He had someone go ask Bo, who was the anesthesiologist, and asked him if they wanted to just get things ready there in the room or if they wanted me in the OR. So he wanted me in the OR. So they wheeled me down there. I still felt really and my blood pressure dropped so much, but it was really low. And my heart rate went down, and I looked at Anthony before they took me away, even before the doctor came in. I looked at him and said, what if I die? And he said, you're not going to die. And I said, what if I do? I don't know why I was like nervous at that point, but anyway, then they wheeled me down to the OR, and I just remember Bo saying, we're just gonna make you really happy. And I said, okay, so you're not gonna put me to sleep? And he said, no, we're just gonna make you really happy. So I don't know what he gave me, propofol or profitol, I don't know, all these medicine names, I don't know them. Anyway, so he gave me whatever he gave me, and then I was gone. I have no idea what happened after that. I don't know how long I was in there. I don't know anything. So I did get to spend time with the baby before all that happened, like in between him using the salad tongs a few times. And when my blood pressure dropped, I was able to hold the baby and be with the baby during all of that downtime, when there was downtime. There wasn't a lot, but I did get to see her, hold her, touch her, and just be with her. So that was good. We didn't really dare touch her a lot because her skin was just so thin and so fragile. So we didn't touch her a whole lot, but I really wanted a picture of her like in our hands, but we were so afraid of her skin just tearing open. She was so fragile. All I know is that, I guess I should preface this whole OR thing. When they came in to check me, the doctor said that was a lot of blood, and I had lost tons of blood, I guess. And so it was all over the floor. When they went to move the pad underneath me, it just spilled everywhere. And so that really scared Anthony a lot, and he got really nervous about everything that was going on. So I got to stay the night there. They said I could go home if I really wanted to after a couple of hours, but they said they'd prefer me to stay there just to monitor me for a little longer, and I preferred that as well, just because that was a little scary, losing so much blood. So I stayed overnight, and in the morning we got ready to go. And the hardest part was I didn't realize this would be so hard, but just walking out into the waiting area, the check-in area, and I remember walking and just realizing that I don't have a baby in my arms. I don't have a baby car seat that we're carrying out. The hospital for us has always been a really happy experience when we've gone in to have a baby. So to come out without a baby was hard. That was really hard. And I remember I really truly thought the hardest part would be being with her after she was born. And that would be like the climax of my sadness. And then everything would kind of start to get better from there. but that's not at all how it is. It really feels more empty now, just because we had to come home without a baby. That was hard. But my anxiety is still high, and PTSD is a real thing. It can sneak up on you, and you don't even realize it's coming, and there it is, and you just get to deal with it. So, today is 4 weeks since I had the baby. And so today I should be having my anatomy scan, ultrasound. Instead, I guess I figured I needed something to do. So I'm headed in to go get a mammogram. The only thing I didn't account for when I made this appointment was that I don't know why I chose this hospital. This is the same hospital I had the baby. And I could have done it 2 other places, but I chose this one just because I'm most familiar with this one. But now I'm regretting my decision because I can feel the emotions already starting, which is so silly, I'm sure, but it is what it is, and I can't change the way I'm feeling right now. So, this should be fun. I'm just going in for my very first mammogram. I don't expect anything to be wrong, but I'm praying that nothing is. Just because I just feel like we've had a lot of things thrown at us lately, and I don't know what's next. So pray for me, even though you won't see this till later. I'm sure it'll still count. I'm just really anxious right now. So finding a parking spot, and then I'm headed in, and I don't know. I've never done this before. I hear it's uncomfortable. The doctor told me it would be uncomfortable. He said the younger you are, so the closer to 40 you are, the more it hurts. So, anyway, I'll be back. Well, I'm done, but that was easier in the sense that it wasn't as painful as I thought it was going to be. It was harder in the fact that I had to walk through the same doors, in and out through the same halls that I had to walk through with baby, and without the baby, I should say. Now I'm kind of an emotional basket case because this is hard. I don't like this at all, and I feel like I kind of have permanent anxiety. She took a little longer than I wanted for between pictures, writing notes and stuff in the computer and typing notes, and that makes me nervous. And at the end she said, don't be surprised if you're called back. It's pretty common for first time mammograms to be called back just because we don't have anything to compare it against, so don't be surprised, don't be shocked, it's okay. And I thought, okay, well, so basically she's telling me there are things that are probably going to be a callback, and it kind of makes me, I feel like everything makes me anxious these days. And 4 weeks ago I was here and I walked out without a baby, and ever since then I've just kind of been a mess. I'm not sure what's happening, or I just feel anxious about everything, every little thing that happens in my life. I feel anxious about. I'll be okay. I know I will. I hate this. I really hate this. I hate this feeling. It's now been 4.5 weeks since we lost the baby, and I'm feeling actually pretty good today. I have only cried once so far today, so I think I'm doing pretty well. Yeah, it's been a long road, and I know it's got a lifetime to go, but I think I'm doing better. I'm learning to control the emotions and how I'm feeling, so I think we're gonna be okay. I'll be okay. We all will.